Hello, 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 hello. How are you? This is Els coming from Amy's Crafty Corner. And today's project is this one. Now, I've already done this video. I've edited it. I've posted it. The problem is that it sounds like I'm talking from a tin can. So I'm going to be redoing it. So let's take a look. So this is the prototype. We're calling this a file folder wallet because it does not fold like a regular file folder. It folds long ways, and it has two pockets on the inside. So we're going to call this a wallet. Now you can do this with either a 5 or a 3 tab. Doesn't matter either way. This is the one that I made in the original video. And as you can see, this one has a 3/4 tab, 1/3 tab, and this has a 1/5 tab. And you could actually do both, and then you have them layered, you know, and you could put them in the same pocket and have two different ones. But this is the one that I did, and we're going to remake it because, well, the audio is bad. So I'm going to get out supplies, tools, all that good stuff, and I'll be right back, and we'll make this file folder wallet flippy thingy together. I'll be right back. Okay, tools on this one. You're going to want your scoring tools and your scoreboard, okay? You're going to want a file folder. It could be a leftover half a file folder. It just has to be bigger than 11 by 6, okay? Some paper, decorative paper, digital, whatever you want to use to do your decorating. This is just a pad that I use for these types of things. Let me get that out of the way. A paper trimmer, of course, the scoreboard, as I said. A pair of scissors, ink, glue. You guys know the rest, right? So I'm going to get everything cleared, and we're going to get started doing the measuring and cutting for all of our pieces, and I'll be right back. All right, so the first thing we need is our piece needs to be 11 inches long. And so we want to preserve the tab. So we're going to turn that in, and we're going to move this to 11 inches. We're going to take this piece off the bottom, which for a standard size file folder is about 3/4 of an inch, okay? Keep it, that is good for gussets, okay? Then we want this to be 6 inches, but we want it to be 6 inches from here and not from the tab, okay? So we're going to line that up at 6 inches. Make sure we get it nice and straight. We're going to go ahead and cut that piece off. That's a nice piece. We'll keep that. And that is the base for our body, okay? Then we need to make our mats. Let me pull up this pad, and we'll just take a look and see what we've got here. And as I said, this is a great project to use scraps on, or you could use like leftovers from a digital. I'm just going to pull these out. They're left over from something. I don't know, but it's what's on the top, so that's what we're using. Okay. So we're going to cut these, and these we want cut to 5 inches by 2 3/4. I'm going to get rid of the big cutter because it's kind of awkward, and bring in the little one. So we want this to be 5 inches, and that's the length, so know that for your directional. Ooh, that's 5 inches by 2 3/4. So 2 3/4. That's not going to make it. So let's do another one here. We need this to be 5. 2 3/4. We need 4 of these. 2, 3. And one more. 5. And then 2 3/4. Okay, so those are all of our pieces. I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to come back with the scoreboard. We're going to do the scoring, and then we'll talk about the inking. I'll be right back. All right, so now that we have all of our pieces cut, we're going to do some scoring. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with scoring this file folder. We want to make sure that the flat edge is at the top. It doesn't matter which side the tab is on, just as long as your flat edge is at the top. We're going to score this lightly at 5.5. Right here, a couple, 2, 3 times is good. And then we're going to turn this so that, again, so our tab is out and that our straight edges are lined up on our board. And then we're going to go ahead and score this at 3 inches. Again, light scores. Doesn't have to be a lot. Okay? And I like to turn it over and score the other way as well. I'm trying to break the fiber down, and file folders are notoriously thick. So now that we have that part done, we're going to do a little bit of hand trimming here. But before we trim, I want to do something with these. So these are actually going to be our flap pieces. So we're going to take 2 and put them face to face. Let's get this folded. And then we're going to fold this part, making sure we get everything lined up nice and straight. Okay? And then on the bottom, the part that's away from the tab, on the bottom, we're going to be doing a little bit of an angle cut. And so what I want to do is I want to put my paper on there, and I'm going to wedge from the open edge to the score line here, okay? Not a big gash. This is not going to be huge. Okay, just a little bit. And the reason we're doing that is so that when we fold these up, we get rid of that bulk in the middle, okay? So now, I want to round these corners, just because I like that look. You don't have to if you don't want to. But on the original file folders, these edges are round. So I'm going to round this one as well. And now I'm going to ink. I'm going to ink this line, but I don't need to worry about these because that's my inside. We're going to ink all the way around the outside of this. We're going to ink all of our paper. Now remember, we have rounded the corners here, so we're going to round the corners here. And we have rounded one corner here, so let's round one here. This is why we keep scraps. Sometimes your corner rounder does not want to round thin paper. There we go. So now I have everything rounded. I'm going to ink everything, clear up this mess, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now we technically have 5 pieces. We have our base, that's 1. We have the pieces that go on the inside, that's 2. 3 is going to be the piece that goes over here, and 4 is the piece that goes over here. So, keeping all of that in mind, we're going to start gluing some stuff down. First thing we're going to do is we're going to glue these pockets shut. So we're just going to glue on this edge right here. Close it up. Now, file folders are notoriously bad for gluing. They're porous. So make sure that you press that down nice and firm so that it stays down, okay? We're going to do both sides. And then we're going to glue on our pieces. So the first ones we're going to put on are the ones that we cut that slant in, and they go right here. There. I'm going to put the other one on, and then I'm going to put the 2 on the back, and then I'll be right back, okay? Okay, now technically, this flap is your front, because there's your tab. There's your tab, that is your front. So you just have to kind of, you know, decide where you want to have that. And then you can do all of your decorating. Now, if you want to do this as a make-ahead, and I have to tell you, this is kind of one of my favorites. I have them where I open them in 2 different directions so I can put them side by side, and then if I put them in a pocket, I have 2 different files that I can pull, okay? If you're going to do this as a make-ahead, this is where you want to stop. Just do your cutting, do your scoring, don't even glue it. That's your make-ahead, okay? Then you can pull this out, and you can work it. Now, if you don't have, you know, a tab piece, let me show you how to do that real quick. I'll be right back. All right, so what I have here is the other side of a file folder. This is the side that has the big tab on it, okay? So we're going to do pretty much the same thing here as far as the cutting. It needs to be 6 inches by 11. So let's take it down to 11. And then it needs to be 6 inches to here. So I'm just going to mark that, line that up on my 6 inches. I'm going to take this part off. But I have a huge tab. We're going to fix that. Now, if you have a punch board, either a box punch board, an envelope punch board, or you just have the punch. I have one. I don't know where it is. But, you know, there is a punch that just punches the notches. If you have that, you can use that. I'm going to use my punch board. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to create a tab over here. I'm just going to punch that. See how I made that punch? And then I'm going to trim that off. And this is the best kind of trimmer for that. Because there's a little wire in there. And if you line up that wire so that the wire is touching the bottom of that, you can cut, and then it'll stop. You won't hear cutting anymore. That's because it's worked its way all the way over. And it's in that divot. So now, I can score this just like I would my regular piece, putting it in my scoreboard, scoring it at 5.5, turning it and scoring it at 3, rounding my corners, doing my fold, taking out my wedge, and folding up my pockets. There it is. I have a tab. That's it. That's the whole thing, guys. I'm not going to bother to decorate this one. What I'm going to do is put in the footage, maybe put in the footage from the previously decorated one. But I do have a couple of make-aheads here. So I'm going to go ahead and put these with my make-aheads. Let me just put some rubber band on there. And that'll do it. That's it for today. So if you're new here, push the button. Check out my community tab. It tells you everything that I have going on. Craft with Me's, mixed media, all kinds of stuff. It's all available there. And it's also available over on my Facebook group, so go check that out. You might want to stop by and check out my Ko-Fi. There's some free digitals over there. And if you would be so inclined, do my Patreon. You don't even have to, like, you know, monetarily support. Just do the 1 week free trial so that at least I know you're supporting the channel. It's just a way to say, hey, I'm here and I'm supporting you. And I appreciate that. So, till the next time, stay well, my friends. Bye.